Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And on today's episode, we are seeing the brand new Grand Egyptian Museum open up after 20 years in development that has over 100,000 items from the past, including statues of Ramses, obelisks, King Tut, and so much more.
Yep. Yeah, this is the Grand Egyptian Museum, and it has finally opened its doors. It's home to a number of never before seen artifacts, and I believe it also offers a view of the pyramids of Giza. So this is an Egyptian museum in Egypt, and it is the largest museum of Egyptian artifacts ever assembled. That's kind of a big deal.
Especially as Egypt has been a place that historically has been very looted and very colonized. So it's kind
Yeah.
of cool to see them build their own statue for their own place. And this has been 20 years of effort trying to make this happen that has seen issues with funding, issues with political stability, among so many other problems.
Yep. Oh yeah, no. This has been fraught with delays from the beginning, and it is it's nice to see it that it has finally managed to come together. This has been 20 years in the making. It's it's a major Egyptian museum in Egypt. It's the largest anyone's ever attempted. It is, and they actually do use this as a field of measurement in the article. So I'm not just making an Americanism for the sake of doing so. But its galleries cover 93 football fields.
Wow, almost 100
That's
full
how,
football fields.
yeah, yeah, almost 100 football fields worth of displays.
It's very interesting too because what they started doing was a launched phased opening where they started opening in October, unveiling 12 galleries with a roughly estimated 15,000 items on display while the museum begins prepping and getting ready for a full grand opening. So it's
Yep.
just now starting to get there. And, some of the things they have is a 36-foot high, 83-ton statue of Ramses, canopic jars containing mummified organs, 3,000-year-old writing boards, school notes, math exercises, sarcophagi, stone slabs, stela, even government edicts and hieroglyphics. Imagine that. You get your government's just boring bureaucratic stuff sketched out and it makes it in the museum.
In pictures, thousands of people hunched over bureaucratic paperwork.
Oh, no.
Just do the modern version. Yeah, the museum contains only artifacts from the unification of Egypt in 3100 BCE to the death of Cleopatra in 30 BC, and it is only Egyptian artifacts from that period. So this is truly an ancient Egyptian museum. It takes its mandate very seriously, and that's, you know 3,000 years of history. That's a lot.
And it's very interesting, too, because not only that, but the design and makeup of the building itself evokes the pyramids. It's meant to kind of blend together. It's meant to complement and not take away or distract. And it's very interesting too, in my mind, because outside of the museum, they have an obelisk of Ramses II as marking the entrance.
Yeah, it's highly elevated. It's very lovely, but even even better than that is in the New Kingdom galleries. They are putting together a special exhibit of King Tut's tomb, and when this exhibit does go live, it will be the first time the entirety of all the grave goods looted, taken from King Tut's tomb in 1922 when it was first discovered,
By Howard Carter.
are yeah, are back under the same roof.
That's really cool.
It's to be the first time in over 100 years that King Tut's tomb has been fully reassembled.
Curious to see how they managed to reunite the whole collection, but that is phenomenal. And that's over 5,000 artifacts in total.
Yep,
And yeah,
yep,
between the political instability, economic instability, the COVID-19 pandemic, it finally came together and is now one of the most cutting edge archaeological museums in the world.
Yeah, yeah. This you know, we got some very beautiful artifacts on display and some very beautiful architecture of the museum that gets seen in some of these photos. Like this is a wonderful place. Like this is reason to go to Cairo in of itself, as if as if having giant pyramids, largest in the world outside, wasn't enough.
But see, that's a very important point that I think needs to be highlighted more and discussed even further is the fact that having these home countries build these institutions, these museums, these repositories for all these artifacts gives people a reason and justification to travel, to go see them, to go visit them firsthand. It's an argument that we hear a lot, especially with the Elgin marbles, of why should we give it back when it's better here, when in reality they have a state of an art museum waiting to be utilized, you know?
Yeah.
We talk about repatriation a lot in this on this
Yeah.
channel, and this is yet another example of why it could be a beneficial thing where they get through the periods of instability and they come out on top with something that is exemplary of the culture they're trying to honor. I mean, to walk among the stela, to walk among the obelisks, the statues, is just a phenomenal thing for being immersed in the history. And then as you're walking through, you get to see the artifacts on display, and there's tens of thousands of them for you to view and to see.
Yeah. I mean, for crying out loud, this museum here's got a statue of Hathor, whose head is twice the size of an adult human. Like, this has some massive, monumental stuff in it.
Well, I think the King Tut stuff is interesting because one of the first times I ever went to a museum was to see a traveling King Tut exhibition where I got to see some of the items that are now going to be permanently on display. And that to me
The
is
iconic mask doing that, like, world tour over and over again.
exactly that got broken off and super glued and the whole
Yeah.
like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Reason number one why items of great historical value should not constantly be in transit.
Yeah, I mean, traveling exhibitions are cool when things come to you and you're able to see them, but they come with great risk and great responsibility. But this is just
Sorry,
kind
did
of
you just get gunned down in front of your adopted nephew in the streets of New York there?
right in front of the museum. Yes.
You've been hit with 3 Clovis points and you're dying?
Exactly. But it's just a cool example, and it's something that brings positivity because I remember quite vividly in 2011 when they had a lot of their instability, there was a huge wave of looting and of theft of artifacts. I mean, I think the museum's collections got broken into at that point.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just
I don't know
cool
if
to
it
see
was
it all
this
come
museums
together.
or some others, but yeah, it was definitely things definitely got bad for a little while.
But yeah, I think that's actually a great point for us to wrap up on this one. If you get the chance, go check out the museum. Let us know how it is, and we're just gonna have to try and make our way out there at some point.
Yep.
But thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, let us know down below, and we'll see you in the next one.